Have you ever wondered how one man managed to conquer the known world in just over a decade? It's a question that has baffled historians for centuries. We're talking about none other than Alexander the Great, the Macedonian king who, in a short span of his life, left an indelible mark on history with his extraordinary military achievements. His conquests stretched from Greece to Egypt and as far east as India. Let's delve into the life of this military genius and see what made him a conqueror of such magnitude. Thrusted into a world of power and potential, our tale starts with young Alexander in the heartland of Macedonia. He wasn't merely a prince, but an heir to an imposing legacy of martial mastery. His father, Philip II, was not just a king, but a visionary. He beheld the latent prowess of the Macedonian military and embarked on a relentless quest to forge it into an unstoppable force. Under this iron-willed patriarch, Alexander honed his skills in warfare and the subtle art of leadership. Pivotal moments, like the heart-stopping Battle of Chaeronea, where Alexander stood firm and proved his worth, served as the anvil on which his strategic acumen was forged. Philip's ingenious deployment of the phalanx formation combined with Alexander's own tactical brilliance emerged as the cornerstone of their military might. But Alexander wasn't just a disciple of war, he was a scholar of life itself. His learnings under the renowned philosopher Aristotle amplified his outlook, seeding in him a strategic intellect and a boundless thirst for knowledge. Armed with his father's invincible army and fueled by his own burning ambition, Alexander stood on the precipice of an epic journey, a voyage of conquest laden with trials and tribulations he could only begin to anticipate. With the Persian Empire in his sights, Alexander embarked on what would become his most famous campaign. Imagine, if you will, the enormity of the task before him. The vast Persian Empire stretched from Egypt in the west to India in the east, a behemoth that had stood the test of time for centuries. But Alexander, with his indomitable spirit, was not deterred. The campaign kicked off with the Battle of Granicus, where Alexander's forces clashed with the Persians for the first time. Despite the Persians' numerical advantage, Alexander's superior strategies and the raw courage of his troops led to a decisive victory. Then came the Battle of Issus. The armies faced off in a narrow strip of land between the mountains and the sea, a terrain that negated the superior numbers of the Persian forces. Alexander, ever the tactical genius, used this to his advantage. His forces broke through the Persian lines, causing a rout that led to a humiliating defeat for King Darius III, who fled the battlefield. The final blow came at the Battle of Gaugamela. Alexander, undaunted by the immense Persian army that outnumbered his forces, employed a brilliant strategy. He drew out the Persian forces, creating gaps in their lines, and then launched a ferocious cavalry charge that broke through the Persian center, leading to yet another victory. These battles highlighted Alexander's innovative strategies. His understanding of terrain, his ability to exploit the weaknesses of his enemies, and his willingness to lead his troops into battle were unparalleled. His victories were not due to sheer luck or superior numbers, but a testament to his military genius. It was through these victories that Alexander was able to bring the vast Persian Empire to its knees. City by city, province by province, the mighty empire fell under his control. The Persian Empire, once a formidable power, was now under the control of young Alexander. Alexander's thirst for conquest did not end with Persia. With Persia under his rule, Alexander's gaze turned towards Egypt and India, two vastly different cultures, each presenting unique challenges for the Macedonian conqueror. In Egypt, Alexander was welcomed as a liberator from Persian rule, and the Egyptians crowned him pharaoh. Despite this warm welcome, the task of governing such a diverse and ancient culture was no small task. Yet Alexander demonstrated his adaptability, adopting Egyptian customs and incorporating them into his rule. He even went on to establish the city of Alexandria, which would become a beacon of Hellenistic culture and a testament to his vision. But if Egypt represented an exercise in governance, India was a different story altogether. Here, Alexander faced a new set of challenges in the form of unfamiliar terrain and formidable foes. The dense jungles and monsoon rains were unlike anything his army had ever encountered, and the local kingdoms were fiercely resistant to his advances. Yet, Alexander's genius in adapting his military strategies shone through once again. He modified his phalanx formation to cope with the Indian elephants, a beast of war his troops had never faced before. Despite the challenging conditions and fierce resistance, Alexander managed to secure a number of victories, but the cost was high. The relentless campaigning, the unfamiliar climate, and the resilient Indian armies took a toll on his soldiers. Their morale waned, and eventually they refused to march further, forcing Alexander to turn back. This marked the end of his Indian campaign, a venture that tested the limits of his military prowess and the endurance of his men. In the end, though he didn't fully conquer India, Alexander's foray into the subcontinent is a testament to his ambitious spirit and his ability to adapt to new challenges. It's a chapter that encapsulates the essence of his rule: relentless ambition, strategic genius, and a willingness to embrace new cultures. The breadth of Alexander's empire was unparalleled, stretching from Greece to Egypt and as far east as India. Alexander's thirst for conquest, his ability to adapt, and his military strategies left an indelible mark on the pages of history. Alexander's death marked the end of an era, but his military legacy lived on. In the wake of his passing, the world was left forever altered by his innovative strategies and groundbreaking tactics. The genius of Alexander's military acumen reshaped the very fabric of warfare, leaving an indelible imprint on subsequent generations of military leaders. Take a moment to consider the long-term impact of his strategies. The fusion of speed, flexibility, and decisive action that characterized his approach became a blueprint for future military engagements. His use of the phalanx, a formation of infantry carrying long spears, revolutionized the field of battle, creating a ripple effect that echoed down the corridors of time. And it was not only in his lifetime. Alexander's influence extended far beyond his own era. Great military leaders from Julius Caesar to Napoleon Bonaparte studied and emulated his strategies, incorporating his teachings into their own campaigns, further testament to his enduring legacy. Even today, his tactics are still studied in modern military academies across the globe. The lessons of his leadership, the art of his strategies, the sheer audacity of his vision, all continue to inspire and instruct. Alexander's military genius, born in Macedonia, traveled to the ends of the known world and has transcended the boundaries of time. From Macedonia to the ends of the known world, Alexander's military genius has shaped the course of history.